and welcome back to Bowls with the Bard. My name is Cakes, I am your host, and today we have with us the wonderful...
The wonderful Caliban.
Caliban! He's our guest, he's gonna talk to us today. Alright, for real this time, our guest today is the lovely Jeff Miller. He is incredibly intelligent. He is a director, an actor, and a teacher of Shakespeare. He has been involved in Shakespearean productions all around Maryland, including working for companies such as Cohesion Theater Company, Chesapeake Shakespeare Company, and the Baltimore Shakespeare Factory. Jeff has earned himself the nickname Bakespeare for his love of Shakespeare and his own penchant for making donuts. These donuts are delicious. I have in fact had some. They're wonderful. Contrary to popular belief, it is not because he spends most of his time getting faded. So, out of respect for the fact that Jeff here is an educator of young people and he would like to keep his job, Jeff will not be smoking with me today, but instead he will be enjoying this lovely bowl of wine. Jeff, what experience in your life got you hooked on Shakespeare?
It was ninth grade. My freshman year, we read Julius Caesar, and for a lot of people, the way that Shakespeare is approached in school can really turn people off to Shakespeare right away. You know, some teachers will just be like, oh, it's Shakespeare, you just have to read it and we'll all get through it together. But I had some really great teachers in high school who emphasized the performing aspect, and so they cast us sort of in the class, and we at least read it out loud, with a little bit of acting thrown in, and it was cool that we were like reading a play for school, and like I had done school plays and stuff in middle school, and it was just really cool, and I just sort of got into it. I thought it was really awesome, and that really stuck with me.
Yeah, that's great. I did that in middle school with Midsummer. It was a lot of fun. Okay. What would you consider to be your favorite play and why?
We're gonna have a theme tonight, I see. And that theme is gonna be Julius Caesar.
Sweet. That's
gonna be one that's gonna come up a lot. And for me, that's my favorite play, just because of the dynamics between the different characters, and particularly the way that people change throughout the play, whether it's sort of at the drop of a hat, like a lot of the Roman citizens do their transitions at the drop of a hat, or whether it's over the course of the play, like a Brutus or a Cassius, and you can see that growth that the characters exhibit, and it's political in a way that is not easier to digest, I would say.
Yeah.
A lot of time when I talk about politics, it really just shut off, and it's not enjoyable. But this play approaches it in a way that's sort of easy to understand, and the use of rhetoric in this play is incredible, and you can tell how great it is just because Shakespeare keeps coming back to it play after play after play. It's, remember this time when Julius Caesar died and the streets went crazy, or like Brutus and Cassius, and he makes all these references back to this play, which you can tell that it was very important. This story was in particular was very important to him and also the people at the time. in England, and it was something that everybody would have known. Just so it's so iconic, right? It's such a centerpiece to a lot of his other work, and also to everything that's going on. So, my long-winded answer, yes, Julius Caesar would have to be my favorite, and of course, it was my first Shakespearean love. So you have to be attached to that.
Awesome. Okay, if you could play any character, cross or regendered, who would it be and why?
So this one started off as a joke at first, which is the nurse in Romeo and Juliet.
You would be so
and I know, I get that. It's like, oh, you'd be ridiculous as the nurse, but also the more I interact with this play, and it's the play that I teach the most often as a teaching artist. So I spent a lot of time with Romeo and Juliet. But the character of the nurse and her relationship with Juliet is sort of one of the most real, the most authentic in the play. And it's one of caring, and it's maternal, and it's sisterly, and it's friendship, and it's love, and it's everything good. And that really appeals to me as a person, and I think I share that sort of that care and devotion for other people, and wanting what's best, and also I think it would be a lot of fun, and she has a lot of really great lines, and she's hilarious as a character in the physical comedy, and is one of the funniest parts of the play.
Yeah.
So I can't sell that short either. So really, the nurse has to be up there.
I think that's a great answer for you. I love it. What would you consider to be your Shakespearean specialty?
Well, at this point in my career, it appears to be clowns. I play a lot of and specifically now in Shakespeare, as we know, there's sort of different types of clowns, sort of different areas of clowning, and there's the allowed fools, which are your touchstones, your festies, your leer fools, and things like that. Apomantis, right? Those are the ones that are witty, and they're the king keeps them around to make observations. That's not the kind of fool that I am. All that to say, another type of fool is the natural, right? And that is sort of very basic, right? Very id, right? His desires, right? He wants his food, he wants his pleasure, right? He wants to get through the day, right? He's not thinking too hard about it. That's a really great type of fool. Those are the fools, like, say, your Launces, right, from Two Gents, or in Macker's, say, you have the porter or the gravedigger, right? So you have these fools that are just there, right? And they're the underbelly of society, right? They make things work, but they're not pushing the pieces or making the plot happen, but they live in this world too, and they have a lot of fun, and I love those fools. But I think there's also a third type of fool, which is where I fit in. And that's the fool that is looking to advance their social station, right? And it's the fool that the audience... It's dramatic irony, the fool of dramatic irony. And that the comedy comes in where the character doesn't know that they can't reach the height that they're seeking for, right? Your Malvolios, for example, your Stephanos in The Tempest,
which you can come see Mr. Jeff play this January at the Baltimore Shakespeare Factory.
Yes, excellent plug. Yes, and I think even somebody like Bottom, I think could even fit in there.
Yeah.
So this type of fool. is unsatisfied with their lot in life, and is believes that they deserve better, and so they're taking steps to sort of create their own destiny and sort of overleap their bounds for what society tells them that they can be. And of course, being a Shakespeare play, you can't really do that, right?
Yeah.
Things are what they are. You've got the king and the queen. You've got, the hierarchy, the way that you where you're supposed to be in the social status. And of course, inevitably, the dramatic irony fool falls back on, down to their spots, humbled, right, at the end. But that is sort of where I find myself, and I find an attraction to those characters. I think that there's something to that, that as an actor, it's really satisfying to play a character that has such strong ambitions, and believes that what they're doing is the right thing, and that it makes it easy to want the best for this character, and to sympathize, and to really do the best you can to make that happen, even though that in the end inevitably it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's honest, because you would have no way of knowing it's not gonna happen.
Right.
So, and then there's comedy and honesty. So, awesome. All right, final question. If you could give one piece of advice to somebody who is just starting a career in Shakespeare, what would that piece of advice be?
Get with people who know how to do the text work. The text work is key to all things. As soon as you can, one of the things that draws me to Shakespeare is looking at the text in a way that's like solving a puzzle.
Oh my gosh.
And the character work, because the answers for the characters are all in the text, right? There's not, as people would say, there's no subtext in Shakespeare. I think that's his favorites of Tom DeLeese of Baltimore Shakespeare Factors, that there's no subtext in Shakespeare. And so you look and you're like, okay, so if I know that all the answers, that Shakespeare gave me all the answers, how do I get them, right? It's like, digging up dinosaur bones or something, right? It's that kind of adventure that we all like to go on, except, really nerdy and academic. Trust that the answers are there and that you don't have to make it up. Everything you need is in there, and that's not to say that there aren't crazy, like, broad strokes and ends of the spectrum that you can go on with each of these characters. You can play these characters as complete opposites every time. So there's, it's narrowing it down from infinity choices to a million choices, to use another Tom DeLeeseism. But yes, dive in the text. Get somebody to help you who knows how to dive in there, and parse through it and do the scansion and the rhetoric and all the schoolwork that you hoped you were getting out of by being an acting major. It all comes back to you. But I've seen the difference. Trust me, I've seen the difference between actors who know the text and have worked with the text, and actors who are just winging it out there. And it's clear in the way that the words come out of their mouths, the imagery that they can create. If they're doing too much with their body while they're speaking and trying to emote and really sell the text, which it doesn't need. If you do the text work, then you can trust that that Shakespeare's words are all that you need. Of course, part of that is knowing what you're saying, right? That's like the most. That's the most number one thing, right? That I teach kids. When I teach Shakespeare, the number one thing is you have to know what you're saying. And if you don't know what you're saying, the audience isn't going to know what you're saying, and that's when it gets boring, and that's when people hate Shakespeare. And it, you know, do you have to make them see exactly what you're seeing for your image? No, but you get the idea across, right? The audience isn't going to pick up on every single thing. That's just how that's how theater is, right? But you get the themes and the emotions and the concepts across through your understanding, and the audience can tell the difference. I firmly believe that.
Awesome. Interview over.
If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to see more content like it, please like us on Facebook at Bowls with the Bard, subscribe to us on YouTube at Bowls with the Bard, and follow us on Instagram at Stone Shakespeare. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
1,000 sighs to save, oh, lay me where sad true lover never find my grave to weep there.